Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Meet the Experts. I am Jay Vix, the host and the owner of JVI Mobile Marketing and the Journey Builder CRM all-in-one marketing suite and solution. You are watching Meet the Experts. What the heck are you doing here? You might be asking yourself. Well, really good question. What is Meet the Experts? We are a anti-podcast. That's what I call it. I call it the anti-podcast. We do sort of a podcast, but it's really just designed to give business owners, executives, thought leaders, entrepreneurs a video platform that they can use in their marketing. So we like to say that we can give you a year's worth of video content for your business in less than 30 minutes through this interview process. And so we've had some really great guests. We're nearing our 100th episode. It's right around the corner, and we got some big plans for that. Today's episode is going to be really fun, I think, for me. I'm a really big sports fan. I grew up playing sports, and I'm just like I'm kind of a sports junkie now in my old age, watching a lot of it on TV. And I have a soon to be 8-year-old daughter who's now finding an interest in sports. So this one's going to be cool. Today we've got Charlie Graves coming on. He is the CEO of Athletic Republic, which is the leading sports performance training franchise. So without further ado, let me get Charlie up on the screen and we can learn more about Athletic Republic. So Charlie, hi, how are you today?
That's my first anti-podcast I've ever been on, so I'm thrilled today.
I'm a trendsetter, right?
You are definitely
Putting,
that.
yeah, there you go.
I'm great.
Well,
Thank you.
absolutely. It's good to have you on. I've been really looking forward to the episode because just from our initial sound check, I was like, this is really cool. Like I got fired up and I was like, I wish this was around when I was 15, right? Or, just in my teen years. And I know that you're going to talk more about why I could probably still use it today. I'm sure there's a good use for it. But before we dive into what Athletic Republic does from a services standpoint, let's learn a little bit more about you. Just tell us a little more about Charlie Graves and what you do.
Well, like a lot of people, I grew up playing sports. Wasn't particularly good at any one of them, but was had kind of a mindset from my parents to put in the extra work, do the extra thing. As had a capability of perseverance, and ended up walking on the swim team at Iowa State University, and made the team kind of the last man on. Got invited to my first relay meet, and by the time I finished my freshman year, I was the MVP and won conference titles. I had grown. It turned out I grew a bunch that year, and ended up my work ethic really paid off. And through my college years, continued to aspire and grow, and got to a point where in 1980 I got caught in the '80 boycott. Olympic boycott is the third Olympic swimmer in the world from the 200 meters, 400 meters freestyle. So my Olympic dreams squished by Jimmy Carter. Thank you. As we boycotted the Moscow Olympics. Couldn't really figure out what I wanted to do after that. Ended up having to take a job and going to work, and fitness was part of my life, and so I started running. Turns out I had an engine for that too, and was a pretty good runner. Watched Julie Moss crawl across the finish line in the Ironman in 1982, and signed up the next day and bought a bike. My first my first marathon was actually during the Ironman that fall, and ended up, as my parents would say, joining the World Pro Leisure Tour, where I worked out every day, and became the fifth ranked triathlete in the world. So 2 top 10 world rankings in 2 different sports. And so my athletic career began that way. And I went from there into business, was a sports agent, produced TV shows for the networks, including college basketball for ABC, and then on into a professional career in a Fortune 500 company. And several years ago, bought Athletic Republic because why didn't I have this when I was there, when I was around? And so this business about speed, power, and agility, and having a science-based approach to athletic training really resonated with me, and wished I had it. As many parents say to me today, like, I wish I had that when I was here. Let's give it to my kids. So
Sure. So let's talk about what that is and really like those services. So what does Athletic Republic help people focus on, and who is a really good fit for Athletic Republic?
Well, I think we train athletes of all ages. So you go to the gym to get fit. You come to Athletic Republic to get better. And it starts as young as age 6. And, certainly our programming is different for 6 years old, the youth and teen, college and pro athletes, as well as adults. But the whole mission is about helping everybody get better. Now, we're not the person that's teaching you how to shoot a three-pointer. We're not the one teaching you how to cradle a lacrosse ball or throw a fastball. But we're going to work on the skills of athleticism, speed, power, agility, stamina, the things that are going to allow you to explode high enough up to get off that three-pointer. They have the multi-directional movement so you can, break clear on the lacrosse pitch, or to have the linear speed or the explosive power to shoot a gap or close one on a football field. So we're training the athleticism side of sport, not the skill side of sport.
I love that. All right, cool. So now, how long has Athletic Republic been around?
It started, ironically, not much longer after my retirement, 1986, at the Goodwill Games in Moscow. Our founder, a guy named John Frappier, was a physiologist on the U.S. gymnastics delegation in Moscow. And if you remember, if you're as old as I am, it was the first time the Russians were on the world stage in 10 years. They won every gold medal in gymnastics, every gold medal in boxing, and almost every one in track and field and swimming. And the first thing everybody did was point fingers saying, "Oh, you guys got the new wonder drugs," and that these Germans haven't figured out. And they said, no, physiology. Actually, the storyline for Rocky IV and Ivan Drago came out of those Goodwill Games. Yes. So they invited 5 physiologists, including one American, our John Frappier, to spend a month in Russia and document that it was physiology, not performance-enhancing drugs. And so his first day at one of the Russian training camps, he's seeing athletes being towed behind a pickup truck uphill at 20 miles an hour. They're jumping off and on the back of the pickup truck, for 10 or 15 seconds at a time. He's like, what the hell is going on? And the Russian explains, John, it's a contraction of the muscles, not the extension that matters. Truck doesn't get tired when athletes get tired. So overspeed training in America at the time was about running downhill as fast as we could. And the Russians explained, look, the mechanics are wrong. Anytime your foot's striking in front of center of mass, it's braking. Anytime behind center of mass, it's propulsion. When you run uphill, you're recruiting more propulsive forces. So running mechanics, the skill of running, is better by running uphill. And if you do it fast, you're going to increase that contraction and you're going to get faster.
Faster and faster.
So he comes home. It takes him 4 years to figure out how to not tow kids behind a pickup truck in America. And he opens in Fargo, North Dakota in 1990 with a high performance treadmill. He built, goes 30 miles an hour to 40% grade, mimicking what he saw the Russians doing, and started documenting and building a program from there. So the company today is 33 years old.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, so 33 years old. So a company, which leads me right to my next question. A company doesn't even make it like 1 or 2 years if they're not doing something right? We have to do things right or we're going to fail as a company. So 33 years is a true testament to the longevity. There's got to be several people or several thousand people, obviously, that Athletic Republic has helped. Is there any testimonial or win that you've experienced that kind of is like, you wake up in the morning and you're like, what we're doing is so valuable, and I always think of this thing that's happened. So any big customer testimonials or wins through the years that jump right out at you?
Sure. Well, first off, we've trained 2 million athletes over the last 33 years. So largest performance training business, performance database, but a couple of standouts. One, a few years ago, we had a call from USA Lacrosse. They were building their world headquarters in Baltimore, and they wanted to buy a franchise to train the men's and women's national U.S. lacrosse teams. So this is 6-7 years ago. And ironically, 5 years ago, they started winning world championships. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. So that was a really good one. The other is I'm really proud of the current Heisman Trophy winner, Caleb Williams. His father is one of my franchisees. I met Caleb and Carl at a football camp when my son was at, when Caleb was 5th grade, and his dad saw my Athletic Republic hat, came running up and said, hey, we've been going to Athletic Republic in the DC area for a year, and it's really helped Caleb's footwork. We really think it's something. That's great. when Caleb was in 8th grade, his dad calls me back and says, I need to buy a franchise. And so he's been a product of our system. And he gave us a really nice shout out during the Heisman Trophy acceptance speech last year, where he actually recognized Athletic Republic as one of the things that he's done to help us advance. And so we've been following that SC football and rooting for him to pull up a second Heisman and become the #1 draft pick next year in the NFL draft as a quarterback.
I love it. I think he's definitely on that path. I mean, everybody is kind of salivating over him right now. I think in the NFL, at least all the teams that might have a shot at that #1 pick. So that's awesome. That is a really cool testimonial. All right, you kind of did give us background a little bit, like from your how you kind of got here, but I want to talk more about maybe just some of the educational things that you've done to get to this point, and it might be just being an athlete, but I call it earned it, learned it, improved your authority. So are there any degrees? Was it School of Hard Knocks? Was it self-taught? Like what is your educational background that led you to this position that you have right now?
I've had a lot of changes in my career. I've been a small business owner where I ran the sports and TV production agency. I worked in a Fortune 500 company. I've run businesses for private equity, and this is the first one I've done on my own. And I proceeded to make every mistake humanly possible the first 5 years I owned this business. For the training system that John Frappier created is really grounded in the principles of physiology or exercise science. So we took principles of exercise science, applied them to sports training, and then validated them with technology. The product works. It's amazing. What didn't necessarily work early on was the business. What was the business model? Who are we targeting? After school athletes, that's only 35 hours a week. So how do you make a business and a franchise out of this? How do you apply it to expanding our product offering? So today we now train not only the teenage and pro and college athlete, but we train youth as young as 6. We train adults in our AR Fit program that's about functional fitness. We work with athletes that are coming back from ACL and shoulder surgeries to get them to return to play safely. So product offering, programming, pricing, education, all of the different aspects of franchising really clicked for me when I joined the International Franchise Association and started attending their conferences and others like that. The other big difference maker was our law firm. We use a company called Fisher Zucker, and Lane Fisher is just plugged into the community. And when he knew I needed help, he started introducing me to people that could help me. And the franchising world in general was very open in helping support me. Even though they may not be in sports training, they were hiring, recruiting, franchise development, education, onboarding, all these same things that I experienced and are having issues with, they'd already figured out. And so I tipped my hat to the IFA and the other members of the franchising community to really teach me how to be a franchisor. And it took a few years. In the last 10, we've done really well with this and have been able to grow successful, profitable businesses. But I feel bad for those guys that first got me when I first started out, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
I loved everything about that answer, and really the word that kept coming to mind as you were saying that answer was systems. Learning how to put systems in place and sticking to those systems or adapting those systems with the ever-changing landscape is what I kept hearing without you saying those exact words, but it was with franchising is all about systems, because you have to be able to duplicate it to make it successful, right? But what I loved about everything you were just saying was that there was a lot, and this is a recurring theme in all the people I interview these with successful business owners. I always hear School of Hard Knocks. Like, I just had to go live it. I had to make mistakes. I had to fail. I had to rely on mentors and people that could help you and connect you to people like the law firm. And I have found that 9 out of 10 guests that I've had on this show, when I ask them that question, 9 out of 10 will not focus on the theoretical education of a university or high school or anything. And there's not to discount any of that. And we've said this on the show before. We never discount it, but we find that a lot of the people we talk to, it's like, book knowledge is great. Book knowledge isn't real life knowledge all the time. And you have to kind of just go out there and try and fail and get up and try and fail and get up and, and it's just similar with sports, right? So would you agree pretty much with that?
Yeah, absolutely. There's the challenge here is that when you're the first in the industry,
Yes.
when you're breaking ground, there is no roadmap to follow. You have to invent it, and unfortunately, you know, you're gonna take some wrong turns, and there's just no way around it because there's just no. They all look like the right way to go, and you won't know it until you actually do it. And the value in franchising is that basically the people that are signing on today aren't taking those turns. Now, it doesn't mean I won't make a few in the future. Of course, I will. It's product development. If I get 70% of it right, I did a really good job. And and they're not paying for it. They're having to execute to it. But the value in franchising is that you get the benefit of everybody that's come before you. You get the benefit of the systems that continue to be improved upon. We're not the same business we were a year ago or a month ago or even a week ago. We're always evolving and learning, and we're doing it from great feedback from our franchisees, from our customers, as well as our internal team that's always looking out on the competition and what's going on in the world. So that continuous improvement, that evolution of our business is never going to stop. And that's what, having a channel and a focus to be able to do it inside a systematic approach is what makes franchising work and what makes Athletic Republic work.
I love that. And congrats on that success. So we're going to
Thank
change
you.
gears real quick for one question, then we're going to come
Okay.
back to business, right?
All right. I'm ready.
I love asking people this too, because this has been, this is where I get a lot of growth personally from just learning from other people. But Charlie, just personally or professionally, tell me something you're truly thankful for.
Professionally, I'm really thankful for my franchisees. They have the confidence and trust to put their time, treasure, and talent behind our business. That's a big amount of trust. It's I marvel at them, sometimes thinking about the investment they're making behind this. And it's a good investment, don't get me wrong, but that leap that they make every time they sign on with us, and the commitment that then we have to demonstrate to make sure that we're respectful and honored by the trust they commit to us. So professionally, it's that. Along with it's my team. I have a great team. I take all the credit. They do all the work. How much better can that be, right? On a personal level, I've got a great family. None of this starts without having good foundations from your parents to kids. I've got a good support system, and I think that's kind of help me take some of these leaps, to have the confidence and know that the preparation they gave me through my upbringing is going to help serve me when the times are tough. Oh my God, look at all of us got challenged during COVID. If you didn't have a good back basis, if you didn't have good values, if you didn't have a good business, you weren't going to make it. And I don't think that the COVID was as challenging a time as any of us, especially in the fitness industry when we were closed down for months and months on end.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's one of the things that sometimes I take it for granted that my business and what my business is supporting other businesses. And while it was a very volatile time for us, there were a lot of businesses like the fitness industry where you had to close, and yeah, sometimes I take it for granted that I didn't have to close through that, and how lucky I am, because there was a lot of people that truly got hurt by that. So those are really, I love hearing that thing. I only have one more question for you. This is the biggie
Okay.
though. This is a big one. Because everybody has FAQs on their website. Everybody has the frequently asked questions, right? And I like to automate. Like, my business is automation, marketing automation, right? So I always ask this question because I'm like, hey, let's make right now. Let's make a 24/7 answer to this question that you guys get all the time, right? So give me the big question that people ask you on a daily basis, and let's go ahead and answer it on video so you have it forever.
What do you do? That's the question I hear the most. Athletic Republic, do you guys sell clothes? Apparel company? What is it you do? And I think my short answer is we help every athlete get better. We help every athlete transform potential into performance, where we can help them achieve their goals. And we help every one of our franchise operators transform their business potential into their business performance. It's all about getting better. We all are lifelong learners. We all want to put effort into something and see a result. Athletics is no different. And our systematic approach to helping every athlete improve is all about helping them achieve their goals, make the team, get in the starting lineup, find their way to a college scholarship, or get into a pro contract. It doesn't matter. Get better. And we're here to help them do that by a very systematic approach to training. Test every athlete when they come in to assess their capabilities, their strengths, and areas for improvement. We teach them the fundamental and functional movement skills that are right for their sport or their position. We train them with one of the protocols, some 3,000 pages that we've already written that for peers started and we've continued to be able to develop. And then we track their performance with the most sophisticated and largest performance database in the world that tracks athlete development. Test, teach, train, and track. That's how we get development. That's how we help athletes get better. Come see us and find out how we can improve your performance.
I would love it. And you finished that beautifully. At the bottom of the screen, we have www.athleticrepublic. Go check it out. Go to the website. If you're interested in learning more about franchising, contact Charlie by email, cgraves@athleticrepublic.com. It's been at the bottom of the screen. Charlie, this has been absolutely wonderful. I know it goes by so fast when we do it, but thanks for giving a great answer, and thanks for your time today. It really means a lot to me, and I really appreciated having you on.
Jay, I appreciate you donating your time to me as well. It's a gift that you give to all of us as we all want to learn more about other businesses. So thank you for asking me to join Meet the Experts. I was thrilled to be here and enjoyed meeting you, you too.
Thank you. Stick around backstage. I'll be right with you. Bye-bye. Awesome. Charlie is just, I mean, like just hearing that story and seeing just kind of, how many lessons you learn from sports that you use in life, and then just how we get better, right? And ways to get better. So what a fun episode. I did at the beginning mention, if you wanted to learn, actually I might have failed to mention, if you want to learn how to be a guest on Meet the Experts, or if you think, wow, I want to do that, visit www.meettheexpertspodcast.com. Yes, I know the word podcast is in there, and I call it the anti-podcast. Meettheexpertspodcast.com. Read all about it. We have a whole webpage where it tells you what's included, why we do it for free, all the things you get. And then look, if it's something that we do and you love your interview and you need some help with post-production of those videos, we can talk about that later. But I love interviewing business owners. Selfishly, I learn and grow so much from hearing how other people view lives, business, products, services, customer service, marketing, sales, all the things that come with that. So for me, it's been a passion project. But for a lot of business owners, it gives them so much content that they otherwise wouldn't create on their own. And we hope that you'll take advantage of a free offer and join us if you have something that you want to share with the world. So until next time, take care, everybody. Be good to one another, and we'll see y'all soon.